Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. We're live and this was not done on purpose. We're the men in black. I think we're all wearing black today. Men in black. We've got lots to talk about. We're going to start off with the topical stuff about what's coming out of Germany. Obviously, that's the headline of the show. We're going to talk about the game yesterday. Interesting breadth of fan cams we had yesterday. Obviously, the FA Cup draw and a few things like that. But let's start off with this. This is coming out from the CEO of Dortmund, and basically what he said is that they don't think that anyone can afford Sancho. They don't need to sell Sancho, and they haven't got Sancho coming into the office saying he wants to sell, he wants to go, and somebody's put a bid on the table. So they expect him to be at Dortmund next season, and also Dortmund expect to sign Bellingham. So that's the double blow for United. They don't get Bellingham who we wanted, and we don't get Sancho. But interestingly, Leverkusen have also come out and said that they don't feel that Havertz has played his last game for them either. I wonder if there is this possibility that because there's going to be such a quick changeover between two seasons, that players may just think that well, I'll stay. It's only till next May, and there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. Start for you, Saeed. What do you feel about the Sancho deal? Does that make you feel any less confident? Are you confident it's going to happen? I mean, Liverpool have just won the league as well. You know, this is the sort of deal United need to make sure happens.
Yeah, I'm still confident. You know what I mean? I still feel like, I feel like the benefit we've got is that Sancho can almost watch our Premier League season happening and unfolding, and the German League finishing early. I think that massively helps for United. You know what I mean? Just for him to settle down and think about what he wants to do in his career and how he can talk to maybe Dortmund and whatnot. And so, but the thing about Liverpool, that really concerns me, it really does. Something just about Liverpool, about can they strive forward and win another title? I feel like they're favourites to win the title next season. And if they're going to win it, if they were to get Koulibaly, which were the strongest touted today, and to get Jadon Sancho, it's going to be an absolute mighty push for them, and they're going to be clear favourites. But I just somehow, apparently, is a United fan. He likes the idea of coming to United. I've heard rumours in the pipeline that he does like the idea of coming to United. But this is the big thing. How bad do Man United want him, and how far they're going to go? If Man United put an offer on the table, say, right, 100 million we're going to start off with, then Dortmund are going to say, right, we're serious here. But if United come in with any kind of low offer, or the transfer business is not correct, and how they go about it, it's not right. Then Liverpool, with their structure of their transfer, the CEO and rules about them, they'll come in with a way of just going in there, boom, getting it done. Man United have been awful in transfer windows, and it's clear to see. If you can just get it done quickly, I'm very positive. But the fact that Liverpool are touting around, it's made me a bit nervous. But I think we can get it. But it's about United. United structure has always been awful, and the transfer committee. It's whether they can get themselves ready and get this properly done.
Apologies, everyone, about the audio. I'm on StreamYard, and I don't normally use this, so it messed up my audio. So it should be working fine now. I'm working off the right microphone, so apologies for that. Sancho, then. I mean, look, I say, Adam, Liverpool winning the title on Friday, I was quite angry. And all I said is I hope that Manchester United Football Club are half as angry as I am, because I'm fed up of this club being run like a business. We need to be run like a football club. And for me, I don't want to listen to no one can afford him, or Ollie going, look, we might want him, but it's got to be financially sensible. Screw sensibility. I mean, there's a gap to be closed there. Are you confident that we're going to get this deal that clearly we want to get done, or do you think there is a chance that he might end up staying where he is and United will back off because they can't afford it, or they don't want to spend that money?
I think you mentioned it first there with Liverpool winning the league, and it should be a kick up the arse that United really need, and the hierarchy United really need to actually go out and say, look, we need to close this gap big time. But I think with it being such a massive rivalry around the world, I think Dortmund are just playing the game big time. They're using it as well. They're using the United-Liverpool rivalry. They're saying, look, he's for sale at this price. We don't think anyone can afford him. They know that United want him. They know that United are probably one of the clubs who are stupid enough to pay a ridiculous price for him. Because, like you said, we have been run by absolute clowns over the last 7 years, and we have had our pants pulled down time and time again for players. I just think that Dortmund are playing it. Saeed said it then. They sort of got an advantage now because they know that Sancho's just going to be sat on his ass for, well, the rest of this season pans out. It's 6 weeks, is it? We've got left of our season. There's nothing going to be started in the European competitions until then. So for me, I just think that they're just playing the game completely the way they should do, Dortmund. They're rubbing our faces in it with Bellingham. I just think they're trying to force United's hand into making a move. And I don't think they need to get rid of him. I really don't. They don't look like they're in any rush to get rid of him. So they're saying all the right things. It's all now exactly what Dortmund wanted it to be, which is in United's hands. They're saying, look, he's there if you want him. Are you crazy enough to come and meet our price and take him away from us? Because if not, we'll just start next season with one of the best right-sided attacking players in the world again. No problem, no skin off our neck.
I think you're right. I think Hakimi is leaving. That's the CEO actually said that. Hakimi is going to Inter because Dortmund can't afford 20 million. So on one hand, they're like, we don't need to sell. We've not got the money problems of the past. And on the other hand, you're letting one of the world's best right-backs go to Inter, who's been brilliant for you, and you're trying to go, oh, yeah, we're fine. But, I mean, now's not the time to be offering money for him anyway, Ricky, is it? I mean, for me, it's going to be about what happens in August. But I saw somebody saying today, Willie Ann's playing well for Chelsea. We could get him for free. And I just felt like getting up and walking out. I felt like giving up football altogether. I mean, he is playing well for Chelsea, but he's doing it for a reason, isn't he? He wants a bloody move, and it can't be United.
What would worry me, I heard you touching on there that even Liverpool might be interested in him. It's easy for us as United fans. I've been a United fan, but since I was 10 or something, 50 years. We've got such an affiliation to our club, and we know our club's one of the biggest clubs in the world, if not the biggest. And it's easy to think that everybody's going to want to come to you. If I was a young footballer and I had no affiliation to Manchester United whatsoever, and a team that just won the Champions League and the Premier League in 2 seasons were interested in me, I think I'd be interested in a big way. And you might say, well, what about the projects? But if I was a young footballer, I would think to myself, there's a challenge there just to get in that team. And I'd like to get in that team, and I'd like to win the Champions League and the Premier League in the same season. So I don't think if Liverpool are interested, I don't think it'll be cut and dried that he wants to come to us, especially if we're not even in the Champions League, obviously. So that's absolutely paramount that we get in the Champions League.
Imagine if Liverpool got Sancho, that would just be that would be devastatingly hard. I mean, hopefully, I know that Liverpool wanted Werner and they couldn't afford it, so I would hope that they haven't got the money for Sancho for whatever reason. But we'll just have to wait and see how it develops. I want to get into some of the topics from yesterday. Quite a few things. I know that I watched everybody's fan cams, and I know everyone had very different opinions. But we'll start off with you, Ricky, actually, because I think we're misquoted a bit anyway, but you were quite harsh on Bruno and defensive of Mata. There's only 2 things I would say of that is, you said about Mata, well, it's hard to come into a team that's got loads of changes in, but does that not also fit for Bruno? And also the number 10 position, we've been moaning about having a number 10, not having a number 10. We've got a number 10. And now people are moaning about him giving the ball away, when every time he gives the ball away, he's trying to do something that nobody else can do. So I agree he had his worst game in a United shirt yesterday. But this context, I think every other game he's been really good. He's going to have a bad game. He's still got someone sent off. And he's still, I still think, he's tracking back. I just think he had a bit of an off day. But I thought Juan Mata should have been getting his P45 this morning. I thought he was worse than Lingard. I thought he was absolutely dreadful. So there you go. I'll give you a star for 10.
When I defended Juan Mata last night, I didn't say anything about his performance apart from the facts. I just said that it was a struggle for everybody, which I take your point. It's a struggle for Bruno. So it is a struggle for everybody. But I've actually watched the game and studied it this morning. I'll be doing a thread on it tomorrow.
Fair play for watching that, Ricky. I tell you what, I'd rather do the ironing.
I actually think that Juan Mata played quite well. So the number of things that he does well that so many other people do wrong is unbelievable. When you watch it again and study it and watch him closely, his touch, his passing, his movement.
Come on, Ricky. Come on, Ricky. He had a poor game, Ricky. What did he do? What did he do right?
What did he do right? he put. There's too many things. There's too many things. We just watched the
No, but name them. Name them though. Name them. Name one thing he did right yesterday in the game.
Well, what do you want me to name? You're not going to remember a little touch here, a little control there, a little pass. He set Lingard up with a chance on the edge of the box that he blazed over the bar. He ran from the midfield. He slipped the ball to Lingard. He got it took off him like candy off a baby. He spread a great ball out to the wing to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw let it go under his foot for a throw-in. He controlled the ball that came down with snow on it on the touchline. He passed it to Bruno. Bruno whacked it across the field to one of their players. Do you want me to carry on?
I didn't see this. I didn't see this.
Please, mate. You've just talked about basics of a footballer there. To be honest, if any player can't take a ball down out the air, then he don't belong in the Premier League. I'm not. You can talk about his touch and stuff like that. I remember him being taken down on the halfway line. I can remember that because he was turning like the Titanic coming out of a port. I mean, he looks like he's treading treacle, Ricky, mate. He's fair enough. He's got a part to play, but like I said,
he lost the ball. He lost the ball or gave it away 4 times. He lost the ball or gave it away fewer times than I've studied it. I
don't care, mate.
He lost the ball or gave it away fewer times than anybody else in the front 6, and he did more good things. Well, Adam,
I don't care about that, mate. What's he in the team for? In his position, what is he in that team for? What's he there to do?
I thought Jamal Lewis was Norwich's best player in the first half, and that's because he was playing against old man Watta. And basically,
Darlow and Mata was the worst combination on a side of football that we've ever. We were shocking down our right hand side, defensively especially. But
Eric Bay started the game off badly as well, didn't he? As well.
Who did Mata come? Who we agreeing if Mata came in for in that game? Who did he replace from the Sheffield United game? Greenwood. Yeah, Greenwood didn't have a fantastic game against Sheffield United, but let's be honest, what did Mata do in terms of creating? Because that's his job. He didn't create any chances. He didn't create any clear-cut chances. I just thought, I've got to give players a chance to coming in. I understand they're going to be rusty. And this is why I had an issue with so many changes, because I don't think Lingard works for Mata. Darlow definitely does not work with Mata. And altogether, with no one and no stability in holding midfield behind him, probably didn't help him out. But for me, I'm looking at snippets of what Ricky said there, and I'm going, basics, but I'm looking for more from my attacking players. I want them to be creating chances. That's what I'm wanting them in the box for. If you lose the ball, fair enough. I just want to see what you do after that. Have you still got the balls and the confidence to go forward and try it again? And not sit back and play a square ball, because at the end of the day, we were chasing the game. Square balls are no good when you're chasing a game, especially not against the team that are sitting back the way they were. And you know what? I wouldn't say, I said in my fan cam, and I think a lot of people took it out of context in terms of the title. It was Mata and Lingard should never start a game for United again. And the word is starting for me there. Mata may have a place in this team, but for me, he doesn't get in of anyone unless someone else is injured from that team that played against Sheffield United. He's not a starter. He could have done damage in that game against Norwich, but coming on when they had back to the wall, when Mata needs a little bit of space and he can pick out a pass late on, that's where Mata comes into it for me, but not a starter. It's just not for me. I understand where Ricky comes from with the stats and how he looks at it. It's just not how I look at the game, personally. Just my opinion.
I've figured it out, right? I know what game Ricky was watching. He's watched 4-0 from January because Mata started in that one. He's got to watch the wrong game. Oh, don't worry about it. We all make mistakes. But look, I don't want it to turn into the Mata show. But Bruno, I do want to get you to come back on that, Ricky. I mean, what is your angle with Bruno? Because obviously you mentioned passes like Phil Jones yesterday. Was it just that you think he had a bad game, or do you not actually? Would you rather see Mata playing at number 10 or someone else?
In the 3 games. Look, you just mentioned about Bruno there, about his work rate, and I did say in the fan camp that the only thing I've got that he's doing wrong is he's trying too many difficult passes. Far too many difficult passes. I said his work rate. I've had loads of people today on Twitter saying, "Well, what are you talking about?" I'm just not. I'm not having. I don't care if 1,000 people want to tell me that he played well. He did not play well. He's trying too many ridiculous passes, and lots of people are saying, "Oh, that's what he's there for." It's not what he's there for. It's not what he's there for at all. He's supposed to get the ball on the floor and pass it, and then when there's an opportunity, I've just watched City. They don't play ridiculous passes. It's when the opportunity is there to make a chance that you try to make a chance. Stop trying to force it. You're just giving them the ball. There was a stat, I mentioned it on the fan cam, there was a stat that he gave the ball away 23 times against Sheffield United. I think somebody said it was 32 times yesterday against Norwich. You can't have a player in your team. You just cannot have a player in your team doing that. I don't care that it might come off once in a blue moon. What does that matter?
Ricky, let me just come in on that there, Robert. Ricky, if you're giving the ball away 32 times, yeah, I mean, what's the difference from taking a risk trying to play that ball or passing it backwards to someone who can't do anything with it? You know what I mean?
I do.
That's how I look at it, mate. Because if you can keep the ball, you can play a square ball, and then his stat. So if he played, forget about City. Kevin De Bruyne is surrounded by world-class players. Yesterday, Bruno. Let's not even go into that. They don't even come into that category. The players that we had around Bruno yesterday. I'd rather Bruno take a risk than press a square pass to keep his percentage of passes misplaced up. I don't care about how many he misses. I'd rather him take a chance and go forward. No, mate, that's not. I understand where if you're looking at it statistically, then fair enough. But I don't look at it for stats. I look at it 5 chances created yesterday.
You give the ball to your teammate, you get it back off him.
I think yesterday though, when like that. On Sheffield United game, I ain't got a problem with how many times Bruno gave the ball away because I thought we played really well, and he will give the ball away. When Pogba came on yesterday and Matic came on, this will get Ricky going.
He didn't give the ball away.
He didn't give the ball away as much because he got. Yeah, I think he was over because the players around him. He's trying to
like that.
You got Lingard and Mata who don't. Well, Mata probably does know his runs, but he can't make the runs. Lingard doesn't make runs. Lingard stays close to the defender and wants to play a 5-yard pass because his confidence is shot. I've played football. I've watched football. Lingard's confidence is shot. He needs to go. Yeah. And Agallo is a penalty box striker. He's not going to make that. He won't do what Martial or Rashford do. So I think to judge Bruno yesterday, he did have a bad game. He did make bad passes. But what do you think, Zaid? Yeah. I don't think he's a problem. I think he's actually the solution. I think he's been the fire starter for this team.
Well, I just want to touch on when Ricky said about City playing it well. City have got De Bruyne, Fernandinho in that midfield. It's just in a regular midfield. They're gonna almost keep the ball at will. With Bruno Fernandes, you're gonna see that a lot because of the fact that the people around him are not good enough. And against Norwich, the reason why he was doing all the passes yesterday because people were not holding the ball. McTominay wasn't holding the ball, so it's almost as if it's like when you go into like a 5-a-side and you're the best player. You almost think, you know what, sod this guy because he's not doing well. So I'm just gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna win the game no matter what. And I know Bruno mentality is to win, and I can see that in him. He just wants to win, and I know somehow you've got to be a team player, and I know what you understand, Vicky. But if he's having a bad game and he's having 5 creative chances, no player in the game, by the way, had more creative chances than him, by the way, and that's his bad game. I just look at his tenacity, the way he's willing to get the ball, receive it, move quicker. There are almost times where he threads the ball in between the lines. I've not seen that in about since Michael Carrick. Michael Carrick was the last player.
Let me have a second. Don't forget, I'm not saying that he doesn't do all of those things. I'm only saying that he tries too many killer balls that are not on. His work rate's
the fact of the matter is that he's doing that for me. I feel like that's refreshing for me because I've seen a player now who's willing to do that. And Michael Carrick was the last player to do that. I have a lead on ball in between the lines. And Bruno Fernandes is going to get about 10 wrong. I get it in a game. He's going to get 10 wrong. But if you can get 2 key chances in a game and it wins us a game, for me, I don't care about all the rest of that. And I don't
think Carrick comes into that equation either. I think Carrick's in a totally different position. I think Carrick's the perfect Ricky player, the holding midfield player, I think, who can play and can see more because he's not under pressure and not surrounded. He's not surrounded as much. He's not under as much pressure as the forward-thinking midfielder. How many attacking midfielders have we had since Ferguson left?
Not many, I
Gala,
think, you know.
probably, sorry, not Galo. Kagawa, Mata.
Kagawa, Mata. That's it.
Yeah. That's it. We've just avoided it. And now
they all
it's
get
come
put on
in.
the wing. They all get put on the wing.
And now it's been brought in, and we're trying to play a totally different style of football to the previous managers. It's all looking a bit foreign to a lot of people, and they're like, is this actually happening? I said, yeah, this is happening. We've got a player who's come in, and since he's been in, we've had 13 games. We've won 9. We've drawn 4.
Well, Tom Guthrie just said we're unbeaten since Bruno joined the club.
Yeah, unbeaten.
But what was your question, Ricky?
Here's my question. Right, Bruno, and look, like you said, it's not all about one player. It really isn't. But you know, people are having a go at me because of what I've said. So I've been looking at other things and I'm thinking of other angles. He keeps trying these difficult balls and these long balls. He must be trying, certainly against Sheffield United and Spurs, he must have tried it about 8 times each, probably 4 or 5 times yesterday. He must be averaging 5 a game. That's 35 times in 7 league games, at least 35 difficult or long passes. Now then, he's got a couple of assists. He's got an assist from the free kick against City, an assist from the corner against Chelsea. But I'm not saying he shouldn't be taking the free kicks and the corners, so it's not relevant. He's got a free kick. He's got an assist for Greenwood against Watford from a 5-yard pass, which is exactly the sort of passes that I want him to play. Now, these long passes and these difficult passes that he keeps trying, we haven't yet got 1 assist from him in 7 matches. If that goes on here's my question. If that goes on another 10 matches, are you lads happy for him to keep trying long and difficult passes?
Yeah, I am, because I'm looking at 13 games unbeaten and 9 wins. If Bruno was playing this type of missing long balls and passes and we was winning these games at the start of the season, top 4 being put to bed by now. That's the big stat I look at. They're the major stats I look at. I look at the team. I look at what he influences on the team. As a defender, I played, and I'm looking at Bruno playing balls over the top. I'm thinking, why is he playing that ball over the top? There's no one even there. And I'm thinking, what's he going to try next? Is there actually a runner there? Is that runner going to come in on the next attack? It's confusing defenses as well. There's a lot more to it than a misplaced pass. I understand where you're coming from, Ricky, with some of the balls that he's playing. You know what? I'm like that. I'm like, you could have probably played a different ball there. You could have.
I do. I'm honest.
And I'm like, what's he done there? Why is there's no one there? There's no one there. Then I'm thinking, should someone be there? You know what? Because he's been our best player since he's come into the team.
So Adam's happy with it.
I'm okay with that. I am.
Are you happy if we play, Mark? Are you happy if another 10 games go by, every match he plays 5 or 6 long balls, we don't get a goal from it? Are you happy with that?
I think ultimately for me, and what I was thinking about there is that I just think about this. I mean, look, we're going to talk about the FA Cup briefly in a bit, but we've got Chelsea coming up in the FA Cup, as we know, and we beat them 3 times. But we beat them 3 times by soaking the pressure up and hitting them on the break. I think if we do that again and we beat them, Lampard is still the better manager and Chelsea will be more successful, because you can't be successful by just playing on the counter attack. And if we're going to play on the front foot, that's exactly what Bruno's for. So I do agree. Even the goal against Wan-Bissaka cross to Martial, was it the second goal on Wednesday night?
Yeah.
It's even on the watch along. I said, Bruno, he could shoot. No, he's passed it wide. That's good. And we moved the ball on. And he changed. I think his worst game was Spurs, and I think Ollie got at him about that. But what worries me is, as a fan base, and we'll ask Saeed what his thoughts is. But what worries me about a fan base is, I've seen this happen with Pogba. Everyone scrutinises Pogba's game, and now we're scrutinising Bruno's game. Why is no one talking about Scott McTominay? He's just signed the new contract. Everyone loves Scott McTominay. Crap against Spurs. Gets an opportunity yesterday. Crap again. But no, because he's a local youth player. Never gets any stick. And then we're going in on Bruno because, he didn't play well, but he is the least of our problems. I don't know what you think, Saeed.
And that's how I tweeted out yesterday. You know what I mean? We had Pereira, we had Lingard, and now we're moaning about Bruno Fernandes. The bottom line is, you know what I mean? Like Ricky's on about, in 10 games we don't do that. So that's why we got Pogba for. So if one player doesn't, it's not misfire. Then you've got Pogba there that can be a killer. Now we've got 2 players in there that can create. So if one person's having an off game, which I think Bruno is unlikely now to have an off game because of the fact that he's still creating. The fact that he's still creating more is going to be more likely that one pass out of all of them, is going to be a key chance. And now I think that Martial's loving that. The Martial's now loving that because he can make the space now. He's more confident. I feel like the whole team's more confident now. Rashford is making more runs now. Mason Greenwood looks more confident. Matic, that you love, Ricky, is now solid to just get the ball, receive it into Bruno Fernandes. I feel like the fluidity of the team is more cohesive now because of the fact that midfield three now, it can be able to create more. They don't have to go to McTominay and say, you know what, he's limited in what he does. And he was limited in what he does. But then the matter of the fact is, you get them 2 in there, and you get Bruno and Pogba playing, and you will be creating chances. You might have 5, 6 on that one. I'm looking at De Bruyne today. He's had a couple of attempts at passes, and it's not gone astray. But what is he doing? He still keep on going. And that's what top players do. Top players don't hide away. They don't say, you know what, I missed about 10 chances here, but you know what, I'm going to come back with another 2, and they're going to be the 2 ones that are key. So when this is the calm down with Bruno Fernandes, he's going to be the next player in the next 5 years that will become a future club legend. So we need to relax, enjoy Bruno Fernandes, because I'm enjoying it right now. I've had Kagawa, Mkhitaryan, Di Maria, absolutely flops at this football club. And now I've got a player called Bruno Fernandes here, which I can enjoy. So please.
He's only played like 13, 14 games, hasn't he? And he's come in mid-season. I mean, to be honest, I'm not even sure Ollie should have played him yesterday. I mean, he's probably our most important player, and he played him for 120 minutes. So that says everything. But I don't know. I mean, Ricky, go back to you. You started the question, and then we'll move on. But I just think, look, I don't know whether you saw my chart show yesterday. Your man Matic was number 1. I never thought I'd be doing that. But Matic, Pogba, Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. I genuinely think we're going to beat Brighton 2-3-0 again on Tuesday. I think that team, I just think last night was about the changes, and I think it impacted everyone. And you got the Arsenal fans, we'll talk about them in a bit, going, you only beat Norwich. Yeah. And I'm like, you don't understand football. I should never argue with idiots. They'll always beat you at their level. But they think that Pogba and everyone's going to come on and we're suddenly going to start playing well. There's something called the groove of a game. You can bring players on and they can't change the game very easily. You know, the game is set from the start. It's very hard to come on to. Solskjaer actually was a specialist in it because he studied the game before he came on. But I think we're heading in the right direction. I don't think there's anything to. If we lose to Brighton and Bruno does a lot of passes, let's talk next week. But I think we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Ricky?
I think we're going in the right direction. There's no 2 ways about it. And we've got. I think we've got enough good players. I won't say to mount a challenge. Liverpool might just be winning game after game after game. But we could really, we could start by mounting a challenge. But we are not going to do it if one of our players is giving the ball away 23 times in a game. It isn't going to happen. I'll leave it at that.
Okay, all right. Is that his say? We'll see what happens. Right, so let's move on to. Well, I want to talk just very quickly. We'll do a quick topic here. Henderson, De Gea. This has been rubbing around for a couple of weeks. I think personally, everybody who's been saying De Gea needs to go, Henderson needs to come in. I think we've had our answer as far as I'm concerned. But I want to get your guys' thoughts on where we stand on this. He has been one of the best goalkeepers in the league this season. Suddenly, get Henderson in and get De Gea out. He hears that. He lets 2 crap goals in against Newcastle. He messes up again today. Another lone season for me. De Gea's the boy. What are you thinking, Adam?
Yeah, I think that was always in the pipeline anyway. I think he had a poor game against Newcastle by his standards. Obviously, he missed the game against us. He was at fault again today for Arsenal's second goal. I think he was just way open on his inside, and he just made it easy. But for me, going forward, I think De Gea probably holds. I didn't think anything was going to happen anyway until after next year. Me personally. I thought De Gea was going to be number 1 next year anyway. It was only a question if Henderson wanted to come in and try and challenge De Gea. But we've obviously got Romero there. For me, was at fault again as well. That was at fault for him for the goal yesterday, I thought. But I think Romero is a classic number 2 goalkeeper. I don't think Henderson's a number 2. So I see him going straight back out to Sheffield United next season. I think De Gea will be our number one. I can't see it. I think maybe at the end of next season, some noises may happen. But with the market, I don't think anyone's going to go out and spend that money on a goalkeeper like De Gea. So De Gea will be number one next year.
Yeah.
And anyone thinking anything different on that?
No, I think De Gea is showing that his class. You know what I mean? Class is permanent for me. Form is temporary. And I feel like we've got to stick with De Gea. I think when next season, when he starts to deteriorate and you see the decline, then you can make a decision. But right now, I think he's just about the top of the pinnacle for me in terms of the three.
Ricky?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a shame what's happened to Henderson since that's all been in the news, really. But he's
it's almost like he's in a way it's good for us though, because it shows that he's probably, because the pressure at United is going to be big. And there was a very good funny picture today. It was like two pictures, and it was like Henderson makes a mistake, United fans hug and kiss. De Gea makes a mistake, they're all like that. So you know, I think Henderson, everyone likes Henderson, and those mistakes are fine. But it almost is it's gone into his head, maybe I've got a chance, and then concentration. And I think De Gea's mistakes a lot have been about concentration because of the contract and stuff like that.
The last thing that we want is Henderson to continue like that in that vein, and Sheffield United don't pick him as the first choice keeper before you know it. Well,
he has been superb for him.
How many mistakes has he made in the last 2 weeks? You know, people have been talking about should United drop De Gea. Why can't Sheffield United drop Henderson? I don't see why not.
I think he's got them to that position in the league, though, haven't they? They've kept so many clean sheets. I mean, I watch Sheffield United at the moment, and I can't understand how they're in the top six. Well, where they're not anymore, are they? But they look like a relegation club to me. I just can't figure it out. But just talking about top four, we are down to sixth now because Wolves winning yesterday, obviously game in hand. They're grafting the points. We got Brighton. I saw you side. Are you worried about that Brighton game then?
Yeah, I'm worried. I feel like I watched them against Arsenal, and yes, Arsenal created chances and whatnot, but I just look at the kind of determination. They went to Leicester and got a point. Now, I know Leicester were doing badly, but they were very, very determined. They're dogged. I feel like they've got, they've got a mean defence in there. And yes, they talk about them not scoring in 2020 since the Arsenal game, but I just look at it and I feel like when Man United have got the onus to win, I don't know. There's some of that bottom tendencies for me. They're still there this season. There's been a lot of draws this season, and if Brighton just stay in their shape, I feel like it's a massive game for me. And we've got to play our best 11. You know what I mean? I just look at it and I think Brighton, it'll be cup final for them. If they can get a point against us, I feel like that would be more or less they'll be, survive for the season. So I don't think it's going to be. I'm not confident as you, Mark. I'm going with a 2-1. Me, I feel like it's going to be a bit cagey. If Man United get the first goal, we'll win. But if we don't get the first goal and they sit back after 1-0 and then hit us on the break, then it could be. You know what I mean? You see with Norwich, and I know Norwich are not. We had a few players missing there, but it's the same kind of style in terms of they can get their better players in Molpen. If you can bully Lindelof and he stays on Lindelof. And then you've got you've got Tossard in there. You've got a few tricky players. They're good on the ball, Brighton. They've got a very, very good style of play. So, You know what I mean? I think don't underestimate Brighton. I think it's not going to be as easy as people think,
I mean, yeah, Adam, on that one, obviously, we were talking just before we came on air about bloody Man City on Thursday. That was one of the games that we really targeted that Chelsea would drop points. And even a draw would have been fine, but they get all bloody 3. So we're 5 points off Chelsea. We're 6 points off Leicester. And it really has. I think there's 7 games to go now, isn't it? So we can't draw games. And I think what Saeed touches on there is correct. To do this, to get top 4, we've got to do what we did when Ollie first came in and not have these good performances and bad performances. We've basically got to win every game, really, haven't we? Are you confident that we can do that? Or do you think that top 4 is now looking harder than maybe it did a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I was all for playing the strongest team every single game. We just didn't have the time to mess around with the team. And everyone's saying, well, you need to rest players. You need to do this. Wolves don't. Wolves don't mess around. We've messed around with our team twice. We nearly got knocked out by a 10-man championship team in the FA Cup. And we bottled it against Spurs by playing the wrong team, the wrong players in the wrong position. So straight away, we're looking at it 3 games in. We nearly went out of 1 cup competition. We're down in 6 and we're further away from the top 4 because we messed around with the team. Wolves don't change it, and they've won 3 out of 3, 9 points. They've played more games than anyone this season. So anyone coming to me with the excuse saying players need resting, you just had 3 months off. When you come back from 3 months, you need match sharpness, not rest. I seen yesterday's game as a tune-up. I thought we were going to play it, get players playing, getting used to each other, because we're in a we're in a small little tournament now where we've got 7 more games. It was 9 before. I thought we had to play our strongest team every single game. And then if someone got injured or someone went out, then someone else came in, not make wholesale changes. I always said Fred and McTominay together is not the right combination, especially when you've got someone like Matic who is perfect for the role. That was wrong. Going into Brighton now, because we need to win every game, looking at it like Saeed said there, I actually feel more confident with Potter in charge of Brighton because they play football. Because Brighton beforehand, I'd be worried about playing them. I'd be worried about playing.
We've not won them, Adam, you know.
What was the player? What was the manager before? Chris Hughton won it, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if Chris Hughton was managing, I'd be worried. But the fact that they play out from the back, Leicester have Vardy up on his own, and he was chasing shadows up on his own against them the other day. I think with our quick forwards, because we do press as a group, I think there's chances for us against Brighton. I really think they're going to play into our hands because they play ball. I really do. If there was a low block and a Chris Hughton team, I'd be worried. I would be really worried. But I just feel like we owe Brighton big time away from home, don't we? My God, I hate that place. But
we haven't won there, Adam.
I know. We've always been beaten. But I just feel with them playing more football style now, I just feel like we've got a better chance because it's going to be a better game as well. I just think we've got the players that can open them up, whereas the teams that they've played before, well, let's not get into Arsenal. That's just laughable. And then Leicester are probably on their worst run under Brendan Rodgers. I think they've only got like 3 wins in
long may it continue
in 12 or 14 games or something like that. So I think they've done well, Brighton. I just think they may be a little bit comfy and try and play a bit too much ball with the points that they've got.
Well, actually right there, aren't they? Because they've beaten Brighton.
Clear.
Yeah, they can be a little bit less of a. I think if they'd lost those 2 games, it would be like bloody hell. It would be a harder game for us. So I think they will relax.
I think it'll actually be a really good game of football, mate. I'm looking forward to that game because Brighton do play football.
I think we'll win. I do. But yeah, Ricky. So I don't know. What do you feel now after what you've seen? That can United? I think if we draw a game, it's basically over that gap, 5 and 6 points. But just also, I wanted to ask you about that because there was a very interesting comment from Ollie yesterday about the team that he picked for the Derby game, and he basically, I've got that wrong way around, the Norwich game, but he picked the team that did well against Derby, which is 2 months ago. Well, it's not. It's probably 4 months ago, isn't it? So he picked a team. He was loyal to a team that did well in the last round of the FA Cup. But then, as Adam said, in the Spurs game, he didn't give any loyalty to Matic, did he? He dropped him for McTominay and Fred. And I think, look, move on. Lots of positivity. I still think we can get top 4. But Adam's right. It just came into my head there. Why did he not keep? If he's going to keep loyalty with a cup team, what was his? Why did he take Matic out of the team? I don't. I know you're the best one to answer that. I don't know why he did that against Spurs. Looking back,
the only thing I can think of is I find it staggering, but I still don't realise how important he is. He was. Some of us lot on here were saying, I can't remember who. It doesn't matter if Matic plays. Matic has got to play. He comes on against Spurs. They can't get a kick of the ball when he's on the field. He comes on against Norwich. They can't get a kick of the ball when he's on the field. He plays against Sheffield United. They can't get a kick of the ball for 90 minutes.
He was brilliant in that game.
And he's now got Pogba. He's now got Pogba playing next to him in a similar vein. Simple, pass it, move. Them two are playing fantastic. You know what I mean? Yeah. Absolutely fantastic. We can't get
it's a bit harsh on Fred, though. I think it's still a bit harsh on Fred, though, because
it isn't. He's nowhere near the same player. I like what Ricky says there. Yeah, he's stuck in. He cannot control the game.
I play Bruno. I play Bruno alongside Matic. I think Bruno's got the discipline and the energy, like he showed against Norwich, to play the up and down role. I put Pogba up with the front 3. I just think that works better. I think Bruno.
I love Pogba from deep, though. I love Pogba from deep. He's got that better longer ball.
I just feel like Bruno's got that tenacity. He's got that running back like he did in the 120th minute to win the ball back on our byline and then run back forward. I just think that could be an option as well going forward.
What we're saying then? Are we saying Fred's not good enough anymore? Is that what we're saying?
We did a show. We did a
played
show
well yesterday, though. He got a lot of speed, but he played well. Would Fred be in your best team now, Saeed? Yeah.
Yeah, I still believe in Fred. I still believe that. When he plays against McTominay, he gets stifled and he's doing two jobs at once. But when he plays against Bruno Fernandes...
Who comes out of the Sheffield United team then, who plays Sheffield United for Fred?
I think Matic's from me, you know what I mean? I'm sorry, Ricky, but, sorry, Ricky.
He's a planter.
I'm sorry.
He's one.
He won man of the match against Sheffield United as well, apart from Martial.
I was man of the match.
You know what, though? I do agree with Saeed. I'm going to defend him here. I think Fred is unlucky, but he shouldn't be in the team, because what we're doing here, and we're going to talk about Liverpool in a bit, what we're doing with Fred here is we're trying to build a bench. This is why I'd like to bring Grealish in. I think Grealish is perfect for United in that game yesterday. You rest Bruno and you play Grealish. You bring Grealish on for the last 20 minutes. This is what we've got to do to catch Liverpool. We've got to build a bench. At the moment, we're turning and we're bringing Lingard or Pereira on. You bring Fred on. Fred is one of the best in the league at breaking the play up and interceptions and ground covered. That he's got a job. He's probably better than that at Matic, Pogba, Bruno. But can he run a midfield as a CDM? He can't run a midfield as a CDM. So at the moment, he's not in the team. But he's a massively important player for me.
Matic has had his best bits in terms of his highlights and how he's played against Pogba and Bruno. When Fred had his one chance against Tottenham, he played against McTominay. And I feel that's unfair on him. I feel like we've been almost...
McTominay's been poor. I don't know why people aren't talking about it.
Poor. I think McTominay is good what he does. And in certain big games, you need that energy. But I feel like it's been unfair on Fred. That one game he had, and now he's almost out of the team. I feel like we need to give another chance for Fred. I don't know when it's going to come, but...
the only reason no one's talking about McTominay is because he was playing alongside Lingard. I think Lingard took the headlines, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then
I think that was his last dance yesterday, wasn't it, Lingard?
I think so, mate. He's in as much control of his football as he is his haircut at the moment.
Ollie loves giving him chances, doesn't he? I mean, I don't want to talk about Lingard. There's lots of positive things. Let's talk about the FA Cup, because we'll talk about the FA Cup, then we're going to talk about Liverpool. We've only got like 15 minutes left. So, FA Cup, we got Chelsea. I was saying before I came on air, Arsenal's probably the easier draw, but I actually didn't want Arsenal because, and I was saying this to the lads, I don't want to give them air. Like, all you're going to get is AFTV boys jumping on tweets, trying to get in. And I'm like, you're in ninth. Yeah. You're not our rival. I don't want rivalry with Arsenal. I want rivalry with Liverpool. I want rivalry with City, Chelsea. You piss off. Don't want your rivalry. Don't want you on our shows. Don't want you on the previews. Don't want you anywhere near United. You're the past. The future is here. So I'm glad we didn't get Arsenal, even though it would have been easier. What are we thinking about the draw then, lads?
Tough game now, because Chelsea are hitting their straps. I think all the business that they did in lockdown in terms of the players coming in has given them a good vibe feeling going forward into the next few games. They played it really well. I think knowing that Werner's coming in, they've signed Giroud up to a year contract extension. They sort of seem to have got the ship in order over lockdown.
Beaten 3 times, haven't we? Ollie's beaten 3 times. Pressure now.
And you're thinking, right, the law of averages has to kick in here at the wrong time of the season, done it now, and Chelsea actually come up and beat us once. But do you know what? There's a reason why we keep beating Chelsea, and it's because they play right into our strength every single time. And that is the speed on our break. And I just don't feel like they've got the defence to handle our forward line. And that's where it is. If Chelsea can play their forward play and get in front before us, this may be a different game, because let's not forget, I think we've always took the lead against them and beat them. If Chelsea get in front, then this could be a very, very different game, because their quality going forward, and now with one of the brightest England centre midfielders in Loftus-Cheek coming back, who I rate very highly as a midfielder.
He's awful.
He's not, mate. He's not. He is a quality player, Loftus-Cheek. That's strength in depth.
Oh, his back.
Sorry.
Yeah, you feel at the right time then. Yeah, I just think that they have probably
what has he done?
A bit more in depth than us. I think Chelsea. So going into next season, they're probably more confident. But in terms of this game, whoever scores the first goal wins it for me.
Yeah, is this not the game though, Saeed? Is this not the game? Yeah. Because Adam's right there, and we know we've beaten Chelsea by doing what I don't like, which is sitting back and hitting them on the break.
Freestyle.
We're not doing that now. Do you think he'll just do it again? Do you think he'll go with the 5 at the back, or do you think now it's time to go, look, Pogba's back, Matic is playing well, Bruno's there, Rashford's back. We ain't sitting back. We're going to go more toe-to-toe. So it might be a very different game.
I think this is one of the games called believe in your own source and believe in your own self. And this is, Man United have got to believe in themselves and their ability. With Matic in there, if he's playing, then Matic and the holding and then you've got Pogba and Bruno. I feel like that can be a combat in that midfield, because I feel like Chelsea have got one of the best midfields in the Premier League. I love Kovacic. Jorginho's an absolute ball. I think it's very, very underrated. And then you've got Kante in there who can almost run around.
Cracking array of talent in their midfield.
Yeah, got cracking. I think that's why I feel like that's why the game's going to be won or lost. So Chelsea, for me, I think they got unlucky against Old Trafford. I really do. And against the game against Stamford Bridge, you know, it was kind of a give and go for me in terms of that. But I think it's going to be a massive game. I just feel like who's going to be best in the running. So Man United can build a momentum in that game, then I think we'll just about have enough to win. But Chelsea on a run right now, the winning games, you know what I mean, Williams turned into Ronaldinho, you know what I mean, Mason Mount's turned into Frank Lampard, you know what I mean, everyone's doing all the bits now. And now it's a case of, it's going to be tough, but I just feel like Man United with Bruno Fernandes and Pogba will just have enough quality to just make things happen and create. That's what I love about United. We're creating things at the minute now.
Don't worry, Ricky. He means with Matic as well, Ricky.
Yeah, you always have to add Matic. You've got to put Matic in. I always put Matic in, even though I don't want to in a sentence. But it's so yeah, Man City got the easy draw again, Ricky. But yeah, I mean, what do you think about Chelsea? It's going to happen on the weekend when we would have played West Ham. So we'll play Chelsea, then we'll play West Ham midweek, then we'll play the last game against Leicester. So it's not by then. I think we'll have a better idea of it might be really important to us. We might have blown top 4 by then, but what's your thoughts on that? I mean, suddenly the FA Cup's more interesting. I wasn't that interested yesterday, to be honest, apart from wanting to win. But
if they've blown top 4 by then, the Europa League becomes more important rather than the FA Cup, doesn't it? It's just the FA Cup will be on top of us at that stage. Getting back to your point about who's going to win it and how we're going to approach the game, I think he's going to have more confidence now. The midfield that we've had in games against the likes of Chelsea and City in the past has included McTominay and Fred. As I've just said, they're both fighters. Don't forget, we beat City in the league at their place with McTominay and Fred both in the midfield. You shouldn't just forget that and dismiss it. You know, they ain't that bad. But it's all about defensive work, organisation.
It says a lot for the 5 at the back formation as well, doesn't it?
Well, it's counter-attacking football, isn't it? Well, I don't want to see.
Now that we've got Matic, Pogba and Bruno all available to play in midfield, I think he will play with 4 at the back, and I think he'll be a lot braver. He'll be a lot braver.
Yeah. Let's talk about Liverpool. Don't really want to, but I think there is, you've got to face up to these issues. They've won their first title in 30 years. And look, respectfully, that they are the best team. We saw that on Thursday. I mean, Man City, I'm glad they're not winning the bloody league anymore, a bunch of mercenary prats. But, Liverpool are winning the league. I think Man City are getting worse and they're getting found out. Teams are doing to them what we did. Chelsea did it on Thursday night. Pep has only ever had a plan A, and it's a good plan A, but teams are starting to drop points more and more each season. I know people want to put it out to centre-backs, but I don't think centre-backs make a big difference to City. I think that they have one way of playing. David Silva's going to be gone. Aguero's getting older. They could have a ban. I don't know that City are going to be the team to stop Liverpool winning it next year. I'll start with you on this one, Ricky. As somebody who's seen Liverpool dominate, seen United dominate, are we on the crest of Liverpool dominance for the next few years and potentially taking over our title record? How do we very quickly stop Liverpool winning 2 titles, 3 titles? Or are we just not going to be able to do that for a while?
Please God, it doesn't happen. I'd take even City stopping them. If they're going to play anything like what they've played the last 2 seasons, we've already spoken about what they've won in two seasons in a row. If they're going to play anything like that, it's going to be a really difficult job to even challenge them, let alone stop them. But
so consistent, aren't they?
Yeah, but we are. keep saying we are heading in the right direction. Let's not have an argument about this now. Let me just tell you how it is. They knock the ball about. They give it, move, give it, move, give it, move. No stupid passes, no stupid shots. They play the fullbacks round the back. They keep it simple and they pass it around. Bruno can play like that. If we've got Calder and Matic and Bruno playing like that, we could beat anybody. Simple as that. We can beat anybody. But he's got to play like them two play, not like he's playing at the minute.
But Matic is. I mean, Matic has probably only got next season left in him. You know,
this
so
is the problem, innit? This is the ultimate problem. It's like Ricky's right in the way they play, but let's all hope we get an injury list like Liverpool going forward, because for some reason they don't get the injuries and they have had time to fine tune that formation. I can guarantee every time one of their midfield players at Liverpool gets the ball, they know where Firmino, Salah, and Mane are all going. They just know it because they play every single week and they always play the strongest team every single week, and it works. It's proven that it works because you build up that rapport. The fullbacks know when to go. Henderson knows when to release the ball. The midfielders all know exactly what they're doing. The game plan is the same every single week. They go in bursts. You have 10 and 15-minute spells where they just absolutely finish teams off, and then they sit back again for a little bit, encourage a team, and then have another spell of 20 minutes of hellfire football and blow teams out of the water. And it has proved to be the ultimate tactic. Slick, quick, no hanging around, slow sideways passes. Everyone knows exactly where every player is going to go, let alone where they're going. And it's credit to Klopp. I hate to say it, but he's got it nailed down. He's been given time and money to mould his team. And like Ricky says then, if we keep our strongest team forward and we keep our forward line all intact, and it is going to be difficult in replacing the likes of a Matic in terms of needing a holding midfielder to start that ball rolling. We've got a good base of a squad already now. We do need to be lucky with injuries, but there is a way there. I think United can compete with anyone with our team. With the team that we've got, our best team, which is probably the one against Sheffield United, we can beat anyone. We proved it when we was on our arse. We competed with Liverpool. Liverpool hardly had a shot against us. Yeah, this is going to bring into Saeed's now, isn't it? Have we got the right manager to go forward? So,
but on the manager, we've got to.
Available.
But I said this. It's not going to happen, is it? But I can't understand. Look, I said Ollie out after Burnley. I said it, and then they got Bruno, and I said, when they got Bruno in, I was like, he's the player we should have got in the summer. I'm going to give Ollie another year. But I'll listen up to this side, right? Liverpool have just won the league. They're favourites to win the league next year. Ollie ain't getting sacked till next season. So that's another year playing badly where Liverpool win the league. Then you've got to bring a new manager in to get it right. If Ollie don't work, Liverpool are going to win 3 or 4 titles before we do, because we can't afford another rebuild. It's got to work with Ollie. It's got to work with Ollie, and he's got to get it right. And for me, it's the board. The board have got to get Sancho. They've got to get Grealish. Yeah. They've got to get a CDM. They've got to give him a squad to go out there and do it. And then the players have got to be consistent, because as Ricky said, this Liverpool team has lost 1 game this year. Last year, they were like a point off. Were they a point off 100 points or something like that? And a point off winning it. They're ridiculously consistent. And their team is full of players that are in their prime or going into their prime. They ain't going anywhere. And what I want to know is how we are going to stop them, because if they win the title next year, they've leveled up with us, haven't they? And I don't see them going anywhere.
I don't know. I'm sorry, Ricky.
So I was just going to say, we've got 5 games in a row now against teams that we should be able to beat normally. Right?
Well, it's a real lesson, isn't it?
That's been the issue.
It's top 4. Now, over the years, not for 7 years, we've been dropping too many points against ordinary teams, poor teams, even average teams. Southampton are not that bad. They are beating the really poor teams left, right, and centre. Southampton are not a bad side, but we've got to beat Southampton. We've got to win these 5 games. If we win these 5 games and win most of them comfortably, I'll feel more confident that we can show some consistency at the beginning of next season.
Well, it'll be like 20. We'll be like 20 games unbeaten if we do that as well. I think you're right there, Ricky, and that gets me feeling positive, because it's like, if we do that, and you take that into next season, we've done something that we've not been able to do for years. We've actually gone and won. You know, how many times do we look at November and go, November's a good month, we'll win all of them, and then you come out of it with 6 points. So.
Exactly. That's my concern for me. You know what I mean? I look at the manager and I almost think, is he a top manager to win us a title? For me, I don't think so. Is he a top manager for us to be consistent? I don't think so. Is he a top manager to take us to the next level? Maybe. But the fact of the matter is, like you said, Mark, the structure has to be properly corrected. Sancho and a centre-back is a must this summer. If they don't get Sancho and a centre-back this summer, then Man United might as well just give over top 4 next season, because we're not getting it with them two again. Liverpool will be stronger. I disagree with you, Mark. I think City will be stronger. I feel like they're gonna get Koulibaly in the summer, and they're gonna go address a striker in the summer. I really do. Aguero is getting older. Gabriel's for me is a fraud. You know what I mean? I don't think it's good enough for me. And it's a case of, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I feel like Man United should not even be focusing on title talk. I feel like Man United should be focusing on, first of all, how we sustain top 4 status, sustain a building, a challenge, getting closer to City. Last season was it 30 points? This season we're looking at 30 points again. How do we bridge the gap from 30 to, let's say, a respectable 5 points behind the title changes? You know what I mean? Something there. You know what I mean? I look at how bad it was this season, and I almost think, can we repeat that next season? Yes, we've got Bruno Fernandes and Pogba and whatnot, but it's all about managing the team as well. So when to say, you know what, I'm dropping Matic. Sorry, Ricky. I'm dropping Matic. When to say, I'm bringing Fred in. How do you sort out your best midfield? Has he got the right centre-backs? Who do you bring in right back, left back? You got all that as a manager. You've got to be a best man management. And look at Barcelona. Barcelona had a manager called Valverde, yeah? He's got Messi, Griezmann, Suarez, Dembele. Didn't know how to sort them out. Got sacked. The new manager right now is about to get sacked again. So it's all about perspective and how you manage a team. And with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, can he take Man United from saying, you know what, we're a top 4 club, to what they really are? I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer can take it from there to there. He can maybe go, yeah, I'll take it to about there, but not to there. And I feel like with Pochettino, you know what I mean, Nagelsmann, they can be the top managers that can take us up there. So I don't know about you guys, but I respect Ole, and I realize what he's doing right now, but I want Man United to get to the next level. And with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, it's not the man for me. Not the man.
I think what you've described there, though, is exactly what you've described with Chelsea. Lampard's not experienced. Jody Morris isn't experienced. Michael Carrick, you know, we are. I think the first battle for United is, I think United and the FA Cup is going to be great, and the battle for top 4 is going to be great, because I think United and Chelsea are fighting to be the team that goes against Man City and Liverpool in the next 2 years. And I think there's very big similarities. But what worries me, and it goes back to the board thing again, is I want to just ask you, lads, what 3 signings areas you go for in the summer to try and get us there. But Chelsea have always been good at transfers. They've already got Werner, they've got Ziyech. I guarantee they'll get 2 more. They don't piss about. And this is what our board has got to do. The only reason we're not, let's be honest, the only reason we won't buy players this summer is because of the Glazers. It's not because we don't need them. We need a winger, we need 2 midfielders, we probably need a centre-back. If we were owned by Roman Abramovich, we'd go and get those players. If we were owned by the City owners, we'd get the players. We're not going to get them because of the owners, and that's business, not football. We are, you know, Ollie and whoever the manager is, we're always fighting with one arm behind our back, and we're massively behind as well. So for me, I'll start it off. For me, you get Jadon Sancho, you get Jack Grealish or Van der Beek, because we need a backup midfielder. You find a CDM to work under Matic for the next year. For me, it'd be Tonali from Italy, but you know, I don't need a CDM to come in now. I need a CDM to come in and work with Matic, because I think Matic has got 1 year left and maybe another year as a part-time player. So for me, it's a CDM, a midfielder, and a right winger. I'm not going to be greedy. That's what I would do. What would you do, Adam?
Right wing, centre forward, and holding midfielder. That's my positions there. I think where we need, because we know Igalo's going in January. We're talking about next year, aren't we?
Yeah.
Close the gap.
Yeah.
So I know Igalo's there till January, but say we're challenging, and then Igalo goes in January, and our board haven't brought anyone else in, and we have an injury, and then we're relying on, it could possibly be Martial and Greenwood. We got no backup for them. It could, Martial could be injured. It could be Rashford in. But for me, we've got 3 strikers right now. We know we're going to be there all next season in Greenwood, Martial and Rashford. Igalo's gone in January, so striker has to come in. Whether that be in January, I would probably get one in now if we could. But truthfully, in the circumstances, I see us buying 2 players at most, and that for me would be CDM and right wing.
Ricky?
We definitely need a forward. We've not got enough we haven't got enough forwards. Whether that is Sancho or whether it's somebody who can play like Marshall can, he could probably play anywhere across the front. So if you bought a centre forward, Marshall could play on one of the flanks. Although to be fair, both Marshall and Rashford are both more comfortable on the left wing, aren't they? So we're a bit short on the right, really. You could do with someone who operates
to right. It's to right, yeah.
Yeah, somebody who operates more to the right. I do think we need a centre back. I don't know what you lads thought. I thought Bailey was poor yesterday. I really did.
Well, I'm happy to talk about that. I mean, because I think a bit of we do. I had loads of people yesterday. This is why Lindelof needs to play, and I said no. You still need pace next to Harry Maguire. It might not be Eric Bailly's pace, but you still need pace next to him. I thought he grew into the game, but there were a couple of areas where I just couldn't understand what he was doing.
He trod on the ball near the corner flag, didn't he? And they got into the box because he trod on the ball.
It was no surprise, was it, that a lot of their chances in the first half came from mistakes from players who had just come in and started the first game, wasn't it? It was a lot of rust there. Bailly started off the game like he did against Chelsea that time last season, didn't he? It sort of grew into it a little bit more, but he didn't fill me with confidence yesterday, I must admit.
He's a centre back like Bruno. He wants to do too much. He wants to take an extra touch.
You don't catch that, Ricky, can you?
I think we've said before, haven't we? Was it a couple of weeks ago we mentioned him? Like, when we were talking about if we've had value for money, and I looked him up, didn't I? And he's played 52 league games in 4 years. You know, whether that's through injury or whether it's through non-selection, it doesn't really matter, does it? You know, if he's only played 52 league games in 4 years, we need another centre back. You know what I mean?
Ideally, you need him to play a few games, don't you? But right now, we're not in a position, I don't think, to bring him in and let him find his feet. We need to be probably finishing this season with Lindelof and Maguire. And that takes Bailly out until next year. And then where's his head at then? Is he going to pick another injury in that time? He's just not got time to play the games for him right now.
It's a shame Twansebi can't stay fit, because I had a feeling in October that Ollie was going to go down that road, and then he's not been. I mean, let's be honest here. Twansebi's been basically injured for 9 months.
Yeah. I don't think he's going to be the one for me. What I would do, and this is going to surprise a lot of you, but I feel like Man United should get a right winger, a centre defensive mid in Declan Rice. I'm telling you guys, Declan Rice is an absolute.
Right, I'm off.
Honestly, Adam. No. Honestly, Declan Rice is very, very underrated. I'm telling you now, he can play. He can dribble with the ball. He's quick on his feet. You know what I mean? He's got the awareness around. I feel like Declan Rice is slept on for me.
Say Partey or Rice.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I don't think Partey's going to be available.
He's off to Arsenal, apparently.
There you go.
He's got a buyout.
Yeah. Rice.
You know, on Declan Rice, to be fair, I don't get it. But a lot of people are on about it. And I'm like, you know what? If West Ham get relegated, he'll leave.
There you go.
If we can get him for 30, 40 million, I'll give it a go. But I ain't paying 60 million. He's not a 60 million.
No. 40 million max. 40 million will get him. Then you get in centre back. And for me, I know, Mark, this is gonna upset me, but I think we need a left back. I really do. I think, there's left backs in there that we could get. I think, you're looking at Telles.
He's done nothing wrong. What's he done wrong? He got a bloody...
Come on, Mark.
I had people yesterday. There was someone on the watch line yesterday. They said he doesn't do anything in the final third. It was 2 minutes after Igalo's goal. I said he put the bloody cross in. I know it wasn't a direct cross, but he put the bloody cross in.
Did you see the second cross he made, though? That went all the way onto the other side, and Norwich had a counter-attack.
He is very... What about when Pukki was going to run through one-on-one? Bloody... He thought it was bloody August again, didn't he? The Poundland Harry Kane. He thought I'm through one-on-one, and Luke Shaw catches him up. And I think Luke Shaw is a bit like Wan-Bissaka in the fact that he's not as good as Wan-Bissaka, but defensively, he's he's a very good. He was our best centre back when he played left centre back. I think defensively, he's very good.
Crazy. Luke Shaw's split opinion so much since the
we should do a poll. We should do a poll. Maybe we should do.
I don't get it, because it's not that he's shit. Like people talk him like he's shit. He's not shit. I like the conversation.
Is he the top left backs in the Premier League?
I think he is. But I'll have the conversation about or is he good or is he brilliant? But I'm not having the conversation, is he brilliant or shit? Like, I don't have that.
Left back's not essential for us, is it? It's not our essential position we need, is it? We've got Brilliant and Shaw.
Yeah.
It's not better than Creswell. It's not better than what's it called? Chilwell. It's not better than Saka.
Chilwell's shit. Like, Chilwell's proper shit. Like, he's good. He's just he's Leighton Baines without the defensive responsibility. That's what he is. I've seen him play 3 times in a week. He scored a banger, and everyone's like, "Sign Chilwell, sign Chilwell." Like, he's bloody shit defensively. Sar's had him inside and outside. He's awful.
Oh, okay.
But it's interesting that you go for a left back anyway, because I think that you go for a left back over a CDM and a centre midfielder and a striker.
CDM right wing. And was a left back. That's what I'll go for.
You said a centre back 5 minutes ago as well.
So that's what I meant 4. So 4.
You ain't lasting at United. Woodward sacked you already. He's like, what, over the next 4 years?
You ain't getting a director of football role anytime, mate. He's not going to have you.
I'm perfect, mate. Manager mode, career mode.
Well, I think we've overrun a bit, but it's been a good show. So I hope everyone's enjoyed it. Make sure you smash a like on the video if you're watching and subscribe if you're new. But no, I really enjoyed it. I know we started these off on the lockdown and Flex is going to do some and I'm going to do some. But we were saying it's a keeper. We need to keep it because it's an even better show when we've had games because there's lots of things to talk about. But
we need to get top 4 to keep it going then, mate, because we can't have Thursday, Sunday games because we're all going to be missing.
Yeah. We can't have that, can we, actually? And also, I was thinking about that on Liverpool title. They're jammy gets again, aren't they? Because they're out the FA Cup and they're out the Champions League. So they've basically won the Cup. They're going to have 3... If the season starts again in September, Liverpool are going to have 2 months off. Because we're going to be playing bloody Europa League and so's Man City in August.
It was thingy as well, mate, because they could have really played into us. I mean, they probably would have won it by then anyway, but 3 of Chelsea's last 4 games are Sheffield United, Liverpool and Wolves. So, you know what, it could have really played into our hands a little bit and helped us out, but I could see Liverpool getting beat by Chelsea now. You just know it's going to go there, isn't it?
Unless Liverpool are going to try and get 100 points, but I don't think the motivation's there when you've won the title. I've seen it with United before. They've lost silly games at the end. All for those days back again. Anyway, give a shout out for what you're at, lads. We'll start off with you, Ricky. Thanks for coming on.
Rick the Red UK on Twitter.
Adam?
YouTube, hit me up at Mad Red United and all my other socials are on top of that page.
And Saeed?
Yeah, thanks for having me. United Central on YouTube and at realist_187 on Twitter.
Yeah, and just remember, everybody, we are still doing the fan cams. I know a lot of you are watching them, but basically we do the game, and then Flex is just interviewing them, and they go up. So all the fan cams after every game, we've got these 3 lads: Xander, Sophie, Rance. There's somebody else. Flex does one, and there's a few other ones in the background in case we have a bigger game. But they will be back on Tuesday. It's an evening kickoff, isn't it, on Tuesday? So
it's going to be a late one. We're going to be in bed at 12:30 again, Saeed.
Yeah. Late one, but look, we're on thin ice, United. But I think we've got to keep winning, which makes it exciting. I think every game's a cup final. We said that a couple of weeks ago, and it is. We can't draw. We've got to win, and you know, I think if that did happen, we're going to have to really digest where we're at because I think we need for next season we need the momentum as well. But look, thanks everyone for watching. We could talk all night. We'll speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching, and take care.
Good night.